All right, Virgo, welcome to your December 2020 love forecast and tarot reading. I'm Ryan with Arrows of Love. Welcome to my channel. Before we get to the tarot cards, I'm going to review the stars in the sky. This will help illuminate the specific energies that will be sitting in the tarot. So let's start with the sun. The sun is in Sagittarius until December 21st. That is your fourth house, Virgo. Sagittarius is 4 signs past Virgo. So fourth house has to do with family, has to do with foundations. It also has to do with home comfort. It can also do with the mother, right? Fourth house is ruled by Cancer, and the moon rules Cancer, which is the mother. So, the fourth house isn't necessarily a romance house, but you're definitely laying the foundation to something that can lead to great things down in the fifth house when the sun moves into Capricorn. That's your fifth house of romance, children, fun and entertainment. So lay the foundation first in order to bring in that romance. That's the general analysis of the fourth house, right? What's interesting about Sag right now is that there's also the solar eclipse that's happening on December 14th. Those are major endings and beginnings that could occur over the next 6 months. And that's happening again in your fourth house. So you could be reviewing the foundations of your relationships, what's working for you and what's not. And chances are you're going to let go of those things that aren't. I like to look at Venus, the goddess of love and relationships, and see what's happening over there. So Venus right now is sitting in your third house, sitting in Scorpio. Third house is communication, short distance travel. It's not necessarily a love house, but love communications can come out of there. Right now, Venus in Scorpio is at its detriment. So Taurus rules Venus. Venus rules Taurus, and Scorpio is on the opposite side of the wheel of Taurus. So it's at its detriment right now. Venus in Scorpio brings a lot of different things. It can bring great passion and romance. It can bring a deadpan of passion. It can bring back past love. It can bring in karmic relationships. And that's because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto in mythology rules the underworld, things that are hidden. So communication right now, you could be getting no communication right now, no sex messages. The Sun and Venus aren't necessarily in romantic houses right now. But if we take a look at Saturn and Jupiter, which aren't personal planets, those are bigger energies happening for all of us. That's sitting in Capricorn. Capricorn is a fellow Earth sign. That's harmonious energy to you, Virgo, and that is sitting in your fifth house. So you've probably had a whirlwind of a year with Saturn and Jupiter sitting in there. Saturn's the taskmaster, karma, time, restriction, delay, responsibility, and perseverance. And Jupiter just expands anything that it's next to. So good or bad, it can be kind of neutral at times, right? So it's just going to expand all of those Saturnian energies that are playing out in your fifth house of romance, fun and entertainment, children. They're sitting at the very last degrees of Capricorn. Jupiter and Saturn are going to move out of Capricorn right around December 21st. So that's the time that the sun is going to move into your fifth house, right? So basically, the way I read that, you had to go through a lot of lessons in the romance department. This one wants to come out. Let your friends help you. We'll get back to that in a second. You've had a lot of lessons probably in that fifth house. It's not an easy house, but Saturn's sitting there for sure, and it's been there since 2017. So think about that, December 2017, that's 3 years. If you want to take a look back at the last 3 years, you probably have seen a lot of comings and goings on the romance level. Some very serious lessons. And Saturn is, it's a malefic planet in the sense that traditional ancient astrology kind of gives it this negative connotation, but Saturn also brings the greatest rewards when you learn your lessons. So when it changes signs and it's in its home sign of Capricorn, if you've been doing the work, Virgo, great blessings can come to you. That's going to move out of your 5th. It's going to move into Aquarius on the 21st. Venus is going to move out of your 3rd house of communication into your 4th house. Sagittarius, again, that's foundation, home, family. That's going to happen on the 15th. The solar eclipse happens on the 14th. So there's a lot of big events happening right now. Big events. I also want to touch on Neptune. Neptune is sitting in your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, contracts. That's directly opposed to you. That's your opposite sign. So we look to the 7th house for marriage and other people, basically. Neptune has been sitting in Pisces for a while. It will be there until like 2026. It's a very slow moving planet, and Neptune rules Pisces. It's in its dignified sign, and Neptune is kind of a nebulous planet. It's very dreamy, but it also creates confusion. And it's been in a retrograde motion for the last 4 or 5 months, basically meaning the rose-colored glasses are coming off while Neptune is retrograding through Pisces in your 7th house of partnerships. So you might have had some big realizations over the last few months about what it is you want in partnerships and what has to go and what has to stay. The caveat with that is now Neptune is moving direct as of this weekend. And what astrologers usually say to that is the following. You have to use your intuition now as Neptune moves direct. It clouds things, it creates confusion, and your intuition is key. And that's key for everyone, especially with Neptune and Pisces. We need to start using our 6th sense, and that's our intuition. So we'll see how these all play out for you, Virgo. I'm just going to say there's probably not a lot going on in the love department for you based on what I'm seeing here, but that doesn't mean it can't be found in home and family. 4th house matters. You might get some communications. Venus is going to make a harmonious trine energy over to Neptune in your 7th house. So you might be getting communication about partnerships. But I'm just going to say it could be a little bit confusing because Neptune is now moving direct. So we'll see how this all plays out. Very first card that came out here. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others, okay? So look to friends over, the next couple weeks to 6 months. Before I start in here, let me just say, this is a general reading. If you want a personal reading, you can email me. My email's in the description box below. We're going to pull 2 angels, romance cards, and then we're going to clarify with the tarot. So your first card here is let your friends help you. Let's see what this other one is. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Your friends might be alerting you to a red flag of a love interest. We just talked about communication. Venus sitting in your 3rd house. It's in its detriment in Scorpio. Not always the most pleasant things in love, I'm going to be honest. And it's making a trine over to Neptune in your 7th of partnership. So, someone could be coming back from the past, trying to stir the emotion, and it might be a little bit confusing, to be quite honest. It might pull at your heartstrings at first, but there's clouds in this. We're not really sure, and right here, pay attention to the red flags. You know them when you see them, Virgo. All right, let's pull some cards from the tarot. That's just bad shuffling on my part. What's interesting, Virgo, I'm a Capricorn sun, so I love Virgos. We get along very well. So, Virgo, when you're stressed out and things kind of aren't going the way you planned, you have a tendency to clean. And 4th house is home and family and creature comforts. So, if you're feeling the stress, break out the vacuum cleaner. We know how you love to vacuum. I'm sure you have the nicest Dyson vacuum cleaner in your closet and a ton of cleaning supplies. So, sometimes it's in your daily routine that you can find peace. But Saturn and Jupiter sitting in that 5th house, if you've done the work over the last couple years and you've learned your lessons, you're about to be rewarded for all of that. If not, you're going to see some things come back to you. That's how Saturn works. It's karma. So if you see past recurring themes, it means you need to revisit that, and the universe is calling your attention to it. We're going to see how this goes, though. Let your friends help you. Pay attention to the red flags. All right, so let's see what the Tarot has to say. Six of Swords. Knight of Pentacles. The Fool. Four of Swords. Two of Pentacles. And Death. Okay. Interesting read, Virgo. Let's start with the major arcana, Death. This is Scorpion energy. We just talked about Virgo and Scorpio, right? 8th house. Scorpio is the 8th house. It's it's your 3rd house, because Scorpio is 3 signs past Scorpio, but this is 8th house matters, right? Things from the underworld. Pluto rules Scorpio. It also rules death. Now, this is not a physical death, okay? I don't want you guys going down that road. This is an ending to something. The eclipses are occurring over the next couple weeks. We just had the lunar eclipse in Gemini on November 30th. That was on Monday. And then we have the solar eclipse in Sagittarius on December 14th. Eclipses bring illuminations, culminations, endings, and new beginnings. I think that this is the start of a new beginning for you. Something's got to end for something to come in, okay? Death is an important card. It's transformation, it's rebirth. It's symbolic of Scorpio. So if you want to think about Scorpion energy, the highest vibration of Scorpio is the phoenix. It rises from the ashes through a crisis of self-identity. So if you're going through any self-identity issues with your relationship or yourself, something's coming to an end. You have to let it go in order for the new path to come in, right? All right, so that's the big one. I want to cover that first, because that will definitely color the rest of the reading. But let your friends help you. What are they helping you with, Virgo? I think what they're doing here, based on the cards. Well, let's start with these two. Okay. Six of Swords. Six of Swords is the woman and the child moving away from a situation, something that's not working. They're in the boat. They're leaving something behind. Let your friends help you. Maybe you need to lean on your friends for support. But you're definitely leaving something behind. And the very next card here is the Knight of Pentacles. This is Earth energy. This very well could be you, Virgo. Could also be Capricorn or Taurus. So you're leaving something behind. It's likely you. And the very next card, which is a great card, especially next to Death, is the Fool. So the Fool, the Tarot is based on the journey of the Fool. This is the very first card of the Tarot. Look at him. He's lighthearted, sunny sky. His baggage is very small, and he's ready to take the journey. But you have to look before you leap, right? He's on the cliff. He's looking up to the sun. He's making a new journey. But you need to look before you leap. This is definitely you. You're on the new journey. You're done with the old, in with the new. This is very Saturn, Jupiter, and Capricorn. New beginnings are coming. Pay attention to the red flags. They're right in front of you. If your intuition's kicking in and saying something's not right, you need to listen to your gut during this time, especially with that Neptunian energy moving direct in your 7th house. Pay attention to the red flags. They're there for a reason. Perhaps you've already let something go. Perhaps something has already ended with the Death card and the Fool. You're on the new journey. Because this very next card underneath the red flags is the Four of Swords. This is the healing energy. This is right after the Three of Swords, which can be heartbreak, loss. The very next card says you need to heal. So you need to heal from whatever this type of energy is. You need to take time for yourself. You need to do some inner reflection, some introspection, and you need to really think about what comes next, right? Because right now it looks like you still might be deciding something. The twos are always a decision. This is a Two of Pentacles. Again, I think this is probably you, Virgo, deciding whether something needs to end and something needs to begin, deciding whether or not these red flags are something you can deal with. I don't know about that. One thing I'm going to mention on this card is the infinity symbol between the pentacles, which represents karma here, right? That Saturnian energy sitting in your fifth house of romance. You have a lot of pentacles sitting here, so a lot of earth energy. That's you. It's urging you to rest. The decision here is yours. Do you take the new route? Do you go back to something that's not working, that you know has red flags, or do you heal yourself and move on to the next chapter, the next progression of life? I think you're going to heal, because after the Two of Pentacles, you have death. And death is, I had a law school professor about 10 years ago, and he said, the only universal truth about life is death. You have to let things go that aren't working. That is eclipse season. That's what it's all about. If we've done the work and we've let go of toxic situations, toxic relationships, toxic people, toxic patterns, you've done the work. If you haven't, the eclipse takes it out for you. The universe removes it. Death is the rebirth of you, Virgo. What do you want 2021 to look like? Because you got the Fool. You're starting anew. The choice is yours. And I think I know what you're going to do. We're going to pull one more card for the outcome. See how this ends? Yeah, I like this. It's the Three of Pentacles. That's celebration. Sorry, the Three of Cups. That's celebration. That's you making the right decision here. That's you celebrating the new chapter. That could be good news. Holiday season's upon us. So keep an eye out. If you're at home or get-togethers, I'm going to put a plug in for CDC guidelines. Keep each other safe during the holidays. Be creative in love. But this is the celebration card. This is a happy ending. All right, Virgo. I hope you found this useful. Pay attention to those red flags, though. You're going to heal yourself and move on, or you're going to be stuck in those karmic patterns. We're going to find out. I hope you found this enjoyable, and we'll see you next time.